Very explosive fire situation with a red flag warning across most of San Diego. Wind gusts up to 65 miles per hour with the Santa Ana conditions.
Possible power shutoffs and a fear of fires. The concern, wind gusts between 50 and 70 miles an hour. We'll talk to the experts.
Justice, that's what the parents of a man who died in sheriff's custody are asking for. Why 9 months after, they're still looking for answers.
It's there to protect kids. It's there to protect people.
The health warning California leaders want to include on social media platforms.
I'll explain how a local nonprofit is helping turn this into this.
Have fun and be festive at this year's Jingle Bell Run. We meet this year's honoree who hopes to see you with bells on.
CBS 8 News live at 6 starts right now.
As we come on the air tonight, more than 12,000 San Diegans are in the dark and tens of thousands more are at risk of losing their power due to extreme fire weather conditions. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. A red flag warning has been in effect for a few hours now and dry, gusty winds across the county. We are also learning that power shutoff threat is expanding to include parts of Solana Beach. Tonight we have team coverage. Meteorologist Sean Stiles has more on what we can expect to see the next few days.
But we start tonight with CBS 8's Steve Price with a look at what's happening in the East County right now. Steve?
And right now, I can tell you, Carlo and Marcella, the temperatures are dropping. The wind speeds are picking up. Sean's been talking all day about this being a cooler than usual Santa Ana event, and that's exactly what we are experiencing out here. To the east of me, thousands of people have already lost their power, and there's a fear more people will experience outages. The areas in red on SDG&E's map of designated at-risk communities have already lost power. That includes Descanso, where SDG&E says due to unsafe conditions in the area, we have turned off power.
We are expecting that we are going to see damaging winds.
Meteorologist Brian D'Agostino says SDG&E has warned more than 117,000 customers from Borrego Springs to the beach that they could be affected by a public safety power shutoff.
We will see winds well over 50 miles an hour, even over 70 miles per hour in our windiest locations across the backcountry.
The fear is that trees will fall on power lines, sparking a fire that could quickly spread in these windy, dry conditions.
We do have that abundance of dead vegetation in our backcountry, and so with this critical fire danger, we are on high alert.
CAL FIRE says all 42 of their fire stations countywide will be fully staffed through the red flag warning.
We have our fire centers, our bulldozers, our aircraft all fully staffed.
SDG&E expects higher elevations above 3,000 feet to see the high winds first, then areas like Ramona and Alpine around midnight, with winds peaking in the coastal areas around daybreak. They are also fully staffed in their operations center, where they have the latest technology to quickly spot trouble.
We have mountaintop cameras on just about every peak. We have 100% coverage. All of that is retrofitted with AI technology to identify any smoke that occurs extremely quickly.
But even with all that technology, fire crews need your help. If you see smoke, say something.
Don't assume that someone else is going to call 911. Get on the phone right away and dial 911 because seconds and minutes count in that situation.
And I just got an email from the San Diego County Office of Education. I want to read one very important paragraph. They say, due to public safety power shutoffs affecting multiple school sites, Julian Elementary, Julian High, and Hamul Dozura Union School Districts will be closed Tuesday, December 10th. So now we are starting to see some school closures on top of the power shutoffs as well. Okay, how long will all of this stick around? Let's go and check in with meteorologist Sean Stiles, who has been following the situation closely. Sean?
All right, Steve, thanks for the updates on those school closures. Yeah, better to be on the safe side of this, trying to get families reunited. Take a look what the National Weather Service has issued, and they issued this over the weekend. The red flag warning went into play this morning at 10 a.m. It will last through 4 a.m. on Wednesday. Now, suddenly at 4 a.m., it's not going to be calm. The winds will just go below that threshold. We will see low humidities. We're talking about, say, Teens and single digits and gusty easterly winds, as you just heard. Very, very strong winds, especially over the mountains and into the foothills. Eventually, those winds will push out to the coastline. And notice along the Del Mar Encinitas area how those winds go all the way out to the coast. That's the rainbow corridor where the contour of the land allows those winds to push all the way out to the coastline. So we will see very, very windy conditions, and they will stick around until eventually backing off on Wednesday night. No problems along the coast, but it's the inland microclimates where we're going to see the dangerous conditions.
All right, thanks, Sean. And remember, for the latest weather conditions and alerts on the go, you can download our free CBS 8 app from Google Play or the App Store.
San Diego Gas and Electric presented their proposed electric and gas rates for 2025 to the San Diego City Council today.
SDG&E is asking the California Public Utilities Commission to approve a 10.5% increase from last year's revenue requirements. If approved, it would increase the typical electric bills by about $4.50 a month, typical gas bills by $5 a month. They say this is necessary to maintain safety, reliability, and efficiency of their systems. SDG&E is waiting on a final decision from the commission. SDG&E is also set to discuss new ways to educate customers and assist with higher bills.
Tonight, we have new video of a midair confrontation involving a man police say trying to hijack a plane and divert it here to San Diego. The incident happened yesterday on a flight that was going from El Bajío to Tijuana. Volaris Airlines says the 31-year-old man tried to enter the cockpit, threatening a flight attendant with a pen. Mexico's Public Safety Department says the man claimed he was seeking protection, telling crews that criminals had kidnapped a relative and that he needed to reach San Diego. Passengers jumped in, wrestling and helping detain the man. Here's cell phone video from the event. After an emergency landing in Guadalajara, the situation escalated when the suspect allegedly tried to grab an officer's weapon, causing a vehicle crash. Both the suspect and officers were sent to the hospital.
A new report shows an average of 16 people have died in custody in San Diego County jails per year from 2011 to 2023. The study by Care First California found there were 211 in-custody deaths during that period. It found 43% of the deaths were ruled a suicide or overdose, and that 87% of deaths occurred before the individual's case was resolved. Today, family members of those who died joined the Racial Justice Coalition of San Diego in calling for reforms to San Diego's jail system.
A lot of the people that are getting arrested and getting caught up in the jail system are folks that would be better served by things like by hospital, by mental health, by drug addiction services, and the jails are not the appropriate place for them.
In response, the sheriff's office says it has put measures in place to stop drugs from entering jails and that it has added more doctors and nurses to medically evaluate inmates. There have been 8 in-custody deaths this year. That's the lowest number in more than a decade. Meantime, a Virginia family is in San Diego pushing for answers about their son's death in sheriff's custody.
The sheriff's office says 29-year-old Abdul Kamaro died in the Vista jail in March. CBS 8's Regina Yorita was at a rally his family held in Vista today.
And that press conference started at 10:30 this morning. I can tell you it was a very difficult one to listen into, especially because the speakers that started this press conference were Abdul Kamaro's parents. Now, the mom, you can tell just how much it's impacted her, as well as his stepfather. They are going through a very emotional and painful time losing their son. Take a listen.
I have no answer from them why they killed my son. Everything is in the dark. I need an answer for my son. I need justice. My other son is special needs. They took my other son. I'm sonless. I need an answer. I need an answer for this handsome man. I need an answer.
Okay. And so you can see just how emotional and painful this has been for his family members, how much it's affected them losing their son. There were supporters from Saving Lives in Custody and the family members of Abdul Kamara. He was a 29-year-old man who died in San Diego Sheriff's custody. His parents have traveled from Virginia to be here to demand answers. They tell us that it's been 9 months since his death, and so far they have been denied of any body cam footage or any details that show what happened that night. His mother, Frederica, Vega says deputies arrested Kamara back in March after he walked away from Scripps and Sanitas. He was being treated there for an unknown medical condition. Hours later, authorities found him about a mile from the hospital in a parking lot near a gas station. Kamara had no shoes or shirt and was seen crawling on the ground. San Diego police, who've taken over the investigation, say deputies placed him under arrest for being under the influence. They then drove Kamara to the Vista detention facility. SDPD says he began kicking against deputies, and they eventually had to wrap him in a restraint. At some point after being restrained, he lost conscience and later died. Kamara's parents refused to believe their son had used drugs. They questioned why he was arrested for just being medically distressed. They also are upset that the sheriffs chose not to take him back to the hospital to continue receiving medical care. So today they're seeking justice for his son. Back out here, they're even planning to take legal action against the sheriff's department. But that rally, as I mentioned, has been very difficult to listen to. We will continue to have more details, but that's the latest coming from Vista. I'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Virginia. Can understand that family's pain. The warning sent out to international students here in Southern California, that's still ahead.
Plus, California leaders are looking to protect kids online, what they're hoping to force social media companies to do.
And why the Pentagon is grounding flights of its Osprey aircraft.